And I'm back. Yeah, that's me, Batman. I'm back. Alright, listen, last episode, you guys did solving one-step equations using addition and subtraction. Today I'm going to show you how to do multiplication and division. I'm not going to lie, these look a little confusing. These ones are definitely harder. We're going to get right into it. Remember, your objective for today is you should be able to solve those one-step equations using multiplication and division. We're going to get started. There is an exception to the rule in this, so you got to make sure that you're paying attention to this video because otherwise you could come across something that you have no idea what to do. Alright, you need graphic organizer number 1. This is the second side. You have already done the first side, you just did it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get moving on. Alright, your important vocabulary. Remember, we did this earlier. I'm going to read through it really quickly. The first part, it says an equation is a math sentence that does contain what? Hopefully you got it in your head. It's an equal sign. Alright, and down below, remember we want to isolate the variable. How do we do that? We do that by doing inverse operations. What's the word inverse mean? Opposite. What's the opposite of addition? Subtraction. Opposite of subtraction? Addition. Opposite of multiplication? Division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're at. We got to get going. All right. Here we go. We're going to start with examples 1 through 3. All right. Here's the deal. Remember the first thing we always said. You need to draw your line down the equal sign. Still need to do it every single time. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Every time. Talking to you guys. You need to do it. Alright, next we need to find the variable. Well, the variable's here, but it's actually attached to the 3. And if you remember correctly, when you have that 3x, what does that mean? What operation does that mean? Well, that means multiplying. If you remember, when it's next to a variable, it means multiplying. Okay, so remember, we do the inverse. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Well, it's dividing. And how are we going to show dividing? Well, congratulations, you're 6th graders. You're in middle school now. You're going to put your big boy pants on, and you're going to act like middle schoolers, which means in your work, you're going to use a fraction bar. 3x, okay? How are we going to do this? Well, instead of multiplying by 3, we're going to divide by 3. And that fraction bar means divide. So 3 divided by 3 and 36 divided by 3, because remember, if you do it on one side of the red line, you must do it on the other side of the red line, okay? So what do we have? 3 divided by 3 is actually 1, and that'd just be 1x. So we put x equals, and 36 divided by 3. If you need to do that on the side, you can, but 36 divided by 3 is 12. What do we always want to do? We want to double check it. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it on the side. 3 times 12 equals 36, and 3 times 12 is 36. So we're good. We've checked it. Moving on. Good deal. We're going to go ahead and move on to example number 2. Now, this is where they get weird. Okay, you got to be careful. Draw your line, find your variable. Okay, this right here in the box that I'm drawing right now, that right there, I'm going to get rid of it because it's too big. That means, okay, that means y divided by 9. What is the opposite of dividing by 9? Well, that's actually multiplying by 9. So we're going to say times, and we don't want to use that x, I'm sorry, we want to use a dot times 9. And 3 times 9 on both sides. Remember, the division and the multiplication, they're just going to go away. Okay, and this y is going to come down by itself. That's how we isolate it. And 3 times 9 is 27. We want to go ahead and double check our answer, put it in. That'd be 27 divided by 9 equals 3. And yeah, 27 divided by 9 is 3, so 3 equals 3. We're good to go. Our answer is y equals 27. Okay, we're going to move on. We got a couple more. Draw our line. Okay. And what do we have? Well, we have 5p. Remember, when the variable is next to the number, it means multiplication. We're going to go ahead and do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. Okay, 5p. We're going to use our fraction bar. 5p divided by 5. Do that to both sides because remember, what you do on one, you must do on the other. That is the golden rule of algebra. Okay? All right, the p drops down, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. Go ahead and check your answer. 5 times 5 equals 25. Does 5 times 5 equal 25? Yes, it does. We're good to go. Moving on. All right, we're going to do 4 through 6. These ones are harder. Might take us a couple more minutes, so I am going to start moving a little bit faster. Here we go. Okay, draw my line. Find my variable. It's on the other side. Okay, 4.5x. This right here, even though there's that weird fraction bar, you have to think about what's going on. 4.5x. That number is right next to the x. That means multiplying. We're going to do the opposite. So we're going to divide by 4.5 by using our fraction bar. 26 divided by 4.5. Ooh, that's hard. we're going to have to do something. So this is where they get difficult and the reason why you need to show everything. We're going to go ahead and down at the bottom. We have 26. Remember, you must follow the order. 26 divided by 4 1/2. What do we do when we divide fractions? Well, first of all, this becomes 26 over 1 divided by 9 over 2. Then we keep change and flip. Keep change flip, that means 26 over 1 times 2 over 9. And we pretty simplify if we can, which unfortunately we can't, which gives us 52 over 9. If you divide that like you're supposed to, you're going to get 5 7/9. Okay, so your answer is actually 5 7/9. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you would do to check it is you would actually put it back in. Like I said, they get harder. You got to make sure you know all of your steps. Okay, so they do get harder. So your answer is 5 7/9. Okay, next one we're going to go ahead and do. We found our equal sign, draw our line, find our variable. It's on the left-hand side. We're good there. Okay, and what do we got? Well, 2.1 y, or 2 1/10 times y. What's the opposite of multiplication? We divide. We're going to divide by 2 1/10. Ooh, we're going to divide by 2 1/10. Man, they're getting harder. Mr. Williams is putting division of decimals. He's putting division of fractions. What is he doing? You're 6th graders. Congratulations. This is the expectation. 29.4 divided by 2.1. How do we do that? Well, remember, real quick, we'll do just a little review. 2.1, what do we do to divide decimals? We move it to the wall. Move it to the wall one time. Put our decimal at the top. 21 goes into 29 one time. 1 times 21 is 21. We subtract, we get 8. Now 4, how many times is 21 going to 84? That is actually 4 times. 4 times 21 is 84. Our answer is at the top. It is 14. Y equals 14. How do you check it? Do 2.1 times 14. Seriously, if you get 29.4, you got the right answer. All right, last one. Here we go. All right. Draw our line. All right, and if you remember x over 2, that means that we are dividing. Instead, we want to do the inverse, which means multiply by 2. Okay, you multiply by 2 on both sides. 82 times 2 gives us x equals 164. You can go ahead and check it if you need to. Okay, actually you should anyway. X equals 164, that's the answer. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There is an exception to this rule. Remember, we said we always want to keep the variable on the side that it starts in. There is one exception, okay, and that is this one. Sometimes what you have is, if you look right here, you have the variable after your number when we divide. Okay, this only happens when you divide, and it only happens when the variable comes second. All right, unfortunately, we're dividing v. We're not dividing by 24, we're dividing by v. And that makes it really difficult, because if you divide by v, that 24 is just by itself. So what are we going to do is, when we have this exception, we're actually going to take this v and we're going to move it to the other side first. How are we going to do that? Well, instead of dividing by v, we're going to multiply by v. We're going to multiply by v on both sides. That would give us 24 equals 4 times v, which we could just write 4v. Now it looks just like anything else we did. Now we can keep our wonderful variable on this side. Okay, so we have the variable attached with a multiplication. How do we get rid of multiplication? We divide. 4 divided by 4 on both sides. 24 divided by 4 gives us 6, and that would give us 6 equals v. Okay, and if you look at the top, 24 divided by 6 does equal 4. So that is the exception to the rule. It only happens when the number comes first and we're dividing by the variable. Okay, it's the only time, because remember, when we divide and when we subtract, the order does matter. The order does matter. Okay, so that's why it happens here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 9 minutes and 15 seconds into this video. You have independent practice. You should do these 6. They're a little bit easier than the ones I did in the video. You have a couple minutes to do it. You need to write it on your graphic organizer. Pause the video. When you're done, I'll continue. I'll give you the answers. Ready? And go. All right, I'm back. I'm going to just show you what I do. Okay, here we go. Draw my line. Find my variable. You should have divided by 9. Y equals 9. That should have been your correct answer. Next one. Go ahead. Draw my line. Find my variable. Okay, we should have divided by 8 because that's multiplication. The opposite is division. 48 divided by 8 is 6. U equals 6. That should have been your answer. Number 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and draw our line. Next thing we're going to do, c divided by 16. So what's the opposite of dividing by 16? Multiply by 16. 1 times 16 is 16. So c equals 16. Way to go. Number 4. Here we go. Draw the line. Find the variable. Variable's m. M is, we're dividing by 10. Well, we're going to multiply by 10 to do the opposite. 3 times 10 is 30 equals m. Ladies and gentlemen, you should have m equals 30 or 30 equals m. Next one, okay, draw my line, find the variable. It's 11v, that means multiply. We're going to do the opposite, which is divide. Remember, we use a fraction bar. Divide, you should have v equals 7. There you go, that's your answer. And our last one, before you guys have to do your exit ticket, draw our line. Okay, draw our line. Find the variable, it's b. 12b, that means multiply. We got to do the opposite or the inverse. We're going to go ahead and divide by 12. Remember, we use our fraction bar. 96 divided by 12 gives us 8. You could have done that on the side if you needed to. Equals b. All right, ladies and gentlemen, b equals 8. That's our goal. Hopefully you got all 6 of these correct. Just with the last video, okay, these are your 3 for your exit ticket. I want you to show these to Mr. Williams. I literally want you to bring them back on your graphic organizer after you're done. I just want to check them. This is really important because remember, I told you must show your work, you must show your steps, and I would like you to check your answers. Okay, that being said, show it to me, get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, move on. If you have any questions, come see me. If you need a workshop, come see me. Just ask. I'll be more than willing to help you. On that note, I'm out.